Hello and welcome back to part 3 of our guide through the Ring of Pain. So as usual, we are on single candle in normal mode, and today's focus is going to be on the late game. So what exactly does that look like for the guide? That means we are going to be talking about the last 4 to 5 rooms in preparation for our boss. So one thing I do want to preface this with is that I'm not going to go over everything that I've gone over in the last couple guide videos, but I'm going to try and follow relatively similar tactics, because that's the whole point, right? It's this guide I'm trying to put together to give you the best chances of having relatively consistent runs, which means in the early game here, we're going for mostly defense and items that synergize well with just kind of what we got going. When in terms of the white items, you're really just looking for... Ooh, no thank you. You're looking for either stats on your white items, or you're looking for the passive. There's not a whole lot of items that have great stats and great passives, or else they wouldn't be white items. I guess Heat Shield being one of the exceptions, and Skirt. Both of these items have great passives and great stats. So we'll pick up the Heat Shield. Gives us a little bit of defense, a little bit of speed. We're going to continue to pick up defense here, so that we don't just get one shot. We have a lot of HP, so we'll grab the stone skin, use that. Can heal up. And now that we have our defense, we can start taking on some of these enemies. Grab another item. So like in this situation, right? Fire Dance, we have the 1 attack and 3 health, or on Waiting Rags, we have 1 defense and 2 speed. If you've unlocked or have access to Waiting Rags, I highly would recommend this item. I think you can keep Waiting Rags through a vast majority of the game without ever feeling like you missed out. There's many times where I keep Waiting Rags literally all the way until the end. However, in this situation... Oh man, I really want to pass him, but that hurts a little bit. I'm gonna skip through that. Scavenger doesn't really do anything for us right now. There's something like Ferocity, like I said, no passive, but it's just got stats. There's nothing bad about a little bit of extra crit, a little bit of attack. So we're just gonna take that and run with it. You also want to make sure that you're taking a look at these Scroungers. Scroungers are a great source of early game stat bonus cards. So as you can see, he dropped this stat for us. So we're going to go ahead and pick up his attack there. And now for this, I think we're actually going to go HP. Because we're low HP, so when you gain an HP stat, it actually adds it to your current health. As well as increasing your max. So whatever you increase your max for, you actually get added to whatever health you have if you're not full. Grab a barrier. And now we'll heal up to full before taking the ambush. Ambush is another room that I suggest you get familiar with. Ambush is really just free items. As long as you have some sort of base stats and you're not scrambling for every last point, ambush should just always be good for you, because you're going to be able to get an item that is of more than likely greater use than some of your white items. We're kind of switching through some of these here because there's nothing that's really get me excited. I think I might try and take Soul Charger. Sometimes what you have to do as we're exiting the... I mean, we're still kind of in the early game, but we're getting close to the end of the early game. Going to be starting the mid game. You want to see where your build's going. So I'd like to get all these stats to about 10. However, I have the opportunity to give myself some more health, which is good, and increase my clarity quite a bit, which clarity I typically like to view as a mid to end game stat. However, getting a lot of it really, really early, if you can still kill things, sets you up to gain a lot of souls really fast, and that can kind of bridge your way to the mid game simply through just being able to slam chests every single room. So we're gonna give that a shot this time. So normally this fire hive would explode on me for a bunch of damage, but I'm gonna use my barrier so that I get that kill for free. I'll go ahead and attack here. I actually probably didn't need to use it because I had so many souls in here, or so many potions in here. But I wanted to grab a new scroll anyways. I'm gonna pick up rock. Now, rock doesn't seem very important, but the fact that you can deal damage and you get it back without actually using a combat turn is really important. So let's see if we can find an example of where to use it here. Well, all these enemies have a lot of HP, and I really want the Scrounger. Wow, this is an interesting room. Okay, so like here, I can kill this enemy, even though he would die this turn anyways, but say he wasn't poisoned and he was on 1 HP. I can kill this enemy without actually using a turn, so this Scrounger doesn't move away yet, and I get it back, and I can attack the Scrounger. And once we get the Scrounger low, again, I can kill him without having to engage in the combat turn. I don't think I want detonate yet. Ooh, I do kind of want to kill that Bane Fang. So we're going to attack here so that we get our poison back. And then use our poison to kill him. And then we do have a health pot there. So we kind of have two decisions here. But first, we're going to take a look at this blue chest. So Inner Fury is pretty good. Gives us a little bit of speed, takes away our attack, but it gives us pseudo immunity to explosives because we get that knockback, rather. I don't really need either of those. We're kind of getting some, we're definitely getting some interesting items this game. Alright, let's take Agile Boots. A little bit of speed never feels bad. We've got our speed up to 10, which feels pretty good. So here we're just going to continue to attack until we get our poison back. And so again, we can kill him without using our combat turn, which gets us closer to this potion. Again, we can do the same there. Instability, I wouldn't recommend if you're not overly ahead, because you're going to take a lot of damage. There's going to be a lot of enemies, and there's like a moderate amount of loot. I wouldn't say that those rooms are ever jam-packed full of stuff that you want. And then I would say both of these rooms are very aggressive. Chills has high defense, high HP enemies with the ice enemies. And Aggression is full of the Gnashers, which are also very aggressive and have decent defense. But out of these two, I think we're going to go with the Gnashers. Alright, so we're going to get these guys nice and close to us, and then we're going to mix up the room. Wow, okay, well this isn't a great example for the tutorial. However, you know what? Sometimes it happens. So, we got a free gold. We could re-roll it, but we have two pretty decent options in front of us, and this does get into what I want to talk about the late game. So the late game is based on focusing in on passives that are going to enhance the stats that you already have, which these two items are perfect to talk about. So Stacked Plate, as of right now, really doesn't look that great for us. It gives us a bunch of HP, which is awesome, but it takes away our speed, so we're always going to be getting hit first. It gives us a little bit of defense with a gain 1/3 extra defense, which is, you look at that and you say, why would I want 1/3 extra defense when I have it? Well, every time we pick up extra defense, it's gonna just give us dividends in terms of defense that we're actually adding to this stat. So even though it's 1/3 extra defense, that's also 1/3 extra defense if we pick up a new helmet, if we pick up new gloves, if we pick up the stat cards. It's 1/3 extra defense on the stat, not necessarily on our items. So as we build more defense, it starts to double over on itself. So this is still a very, very good item. Deflection, on the other hand, gives us all sorts of stats that we want, and it gives us a very nice passive being just a flat 20% parry chance, which kind of gives us a little bit of more defense in like a ghosty kind of way, right? Like a pseudo defense. So I'm going to pick up the deflection because in these guides, my focus is very much so on like managing your build and I guess like managing your stats in a way that you can. Okay, I'm just like, I gotta think through this here. But basically managing your stats in a way that you can leverage what you find in the ring as opposed to just looking for like one particular passive that's going to give you, you know, a win condition. So we got our first purple here. We're going to keep flicking through some of these. Not really anything that I'm super excited about. Frostbite isn't bad. So again, we can sacrifice some of this clarity because clarity isn't the most important to have a ton of, especially in the early game. Now getting into the mid game, and it gives us stats, all sorts of stats that we want. The passive isn't important to us right now, but it could be in the future. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. And then, do I want one of these, or do I want to keep rock? I think I'm going to keep rock. So we took a little bit of, almost took a little bit of extra damage there, but we did parry one of those. Excuse me. All right. So now we are officially getting into the mid game. Okay, let's poison him up and move away. And we'll go ahead and kill. Ooh, man, this is not a good situation. So, here you need to kind of think, right? If I move this way and I take 3 damage, 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6, so his poison would just kill me straight up. If I stay here, I'm going to take 4 damage, which also doesn't feel great, but I'm not going to die right away. We're actually going to do enough damage to this Bane Fang with this explosion that I can kill him with my rock without actually engaging with him. So, and then if I move this way, I'm going to lose more health because if I fail that parry chance, then we're just taking more damage anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack. And we're going to kill the Bane Fang. Okay, we do one shot here so we can kill, and the same with that. Alright, and let's see here. All of these are pretty good for us right now. I think we're actually going to pick up the salvage, and we're going to go ahead and salvage this blue chest. We'll take the Wishful. Wishful is another great doer. If you haven't really tried it too much yet, you can throw your items in here and you'll get their primary stats. So crit, dodge chance, and sneak chance are all secondary stats. So you click on the well, and then you can click on what items you want to get rid of. So I'm going to get rid of that Ferocity so I get the 2 attack. We still have some points on our Black Opal, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because we'll keep those points on Black Opal. And then we could also get rid of Agile Boots because we don't really need that crit chance. And keeping the speed is nice, and we're definitely going to get new boots later. You can use it up to 3 times. You don't have to use it 3 times. I like to use it as many times as possible because you can unlock items through using that, but you won't find out whether or not you actually unlock the items until the end of the game. Alright, so here we are. Let's go ahead and let them explode on each other. Again, trying to prevent ourselves from getting pinched between any enemies. Or between any of those beads. We can pick up another rock. That doesn't feel too bad. Go ahead and poison you. can attack this guy a couple of times because we do have the rock. Took 1 damage there, not a big deal. And then we do have the poison to take him out again as well. I did not want to open this, but we're going to take it anyways. All right, so as you get into blue items, they sometimes have... blue items are all over the place. I don't like blue items very much, but some of them are decent. Blue items sometimes have great synergies with, like, gold items. So it's like... It's kind of a weird position to pick these items up sometimes. Because you look at Vine Grip Boots and you're like, well, ensnare on stealth. I mean, I got 27% stealth. Like, what are the odds that ever happens? I don't know. Ensnare, that's not, like, doing anything for me a whole lot right away. This is a great, end game item, but it doesn't really give you anything, you know, immediately. So, with that said, it's got some decent stats on it. And it's got a kind of like Frostbite. It has a passive that you might be able to use later, so why not pick it up? All right. Fractal's interesting. Lots of really good stats, but minus curse resistance. So right now we have 61% curse resistance. If we pick that up, we'll only have 11. I like to pick this up oftentimes just for the stats, which, you know what? I think we're going to do. So all of our stats are above 10 now, which is very comfortable. Especially for room 7. Alright, Gluttony, another staple item in a lot of my builds. So it gives you attack, it gives you clarity, which is good by itself, and then the passive is the defense. So if you get rid of this item, like with the Soulcraft or the Wishing Well, you don't keep that defense. But as long as you're above half HP while you have it equipped, you do get that defense. So now we're approaching... base 20 stats, which is really, really where you want to be for the end game to start looking at building synergy between your passives to set up for the ball for either the light or the dark path. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and grab another scroll here. I think we're gonna grab the full heal just because we are a little low. And if we do drop too low, I want to be able to get my Gluttony back procced. So we're just going to hang on to that for now. We've got Volatile and Chills. Again, Chills is mostly those ice creatures and then just whatever mixture of a handful of others. And Volatile, I believe, it's either Biobags or Explosive Enemies. I always forget. So it's a bunch of explosive enemies. So you can see there we ensnared on that stealth. Ensnare does decrease the attack of the enemy, I believe, by half. So definitely something to keep in mind. So again, just kind of working our way through this room. And now that we've built... So we've gotten... there's one thing to be said here. We've gotten a little bit lucky, being that we have some decent items very early on in the game. But we've still followed the same strategy, right? We were looking at stats. We got our stats up. We've got some passives that might be okay for the future, but we've just been focusing on keeping these, mainly these first three, right? Attack, defense, and speed, kind of together, but always moving upward, right? Health you don't need to worry about too much. If you're over 15, for the most part, you're usually pretty good up until the very end of the game. And clarity, we can always sacrifice if we need to. So when you are kind of even like this, I like to usually go for defense. So now we have 23 defense, which feels really nice. We'll grab another free purple. So this is the beginning of our decision making as to what our win condition is going to be. So we know we already have a poison, and we're looking at a poison sword here. We lose a little bit of attack, but +4 poison is way more damage overall than losing 3 attack. So in this situation, it's also going to give us 20 speed, which is something that we're looking for. So I'm going to pick this up, and now I'm thinking, what room are we on? We're going into room 9. Now I'm thinking, all right, my strategy for this end game is going to be using my poison to leverage massive damage against high health creatures. So if that's my plan, then the other thing I have to think about is what is going to help me get there. And for me right now, that's a plague. So that means more purple items. It means the toxins in my offhand, which is a gold item. So that can kind of guide my choices as to whether or not I want to, like, what I want to spend my souls on. So we're just grabbing some stats here. I grabbed health for the first one because I wanted to be over 20 getting into the late game, and I just grabbed a clarity because I want to have a bunch of souls to spend on chests. We're going to go ahead and get some more attack here since we lost a little bit of that when we picked up our poison sword. And I do want a plague, so we're going to try for a purple chest here. And there we go. So we got plague, +3 to poison, then double the current poison on the creature. So this itself adds 6, but if we attack a couple times and then use our plague, it's going to double whatever, you know, we've added from our poison sword plus the book. So very, very good for us. We do have some potions in here, so we can go ahead and kill this explosive monster. Heal up for free. We'll take position to strike. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, and so we can demonstrate that here. So if we attack first once, so now he's got 3 poison on him, right? We take our plague, bumps it all the way up to 12, move away once, move away again, and he's dead. Oh man, I got a sneeze coming, and it is gonna be aggressive. Alright, another free purple. So again, we don't really have to use our plague here, but if we did, we would stack them up to another 12. Go ahead and let him explode, and we have a gold. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use our full heal. And then we're also going to go back over here and grab this key. I always recommend using keys on, if you have a choice, use it on the highest cost chest. And then work your way down. So Void Portal is a great item. However, like I said, we have to stick to our plan. Or we should stick to our plan since we have a solid base for it. So excess killing damage becomes soul damage to a random creature. Our thought process here isn't necessarily, okay, I'm going to be hitting for huge numbers in one attack using my attack stat. My idea is I'm going to stack up a bunch of damage using poison over a number of attacks. So we're not going to be doing a bunch of excess killing damage. Gripping Mantle, on the other hand, in this position, I don't want it over my Gluttony. However, ensnare past creatures on successful stealth, and 30% chance to ensnare on attack. Now you have some synergy going there with an ensnare build, as there are other items that give you more benefits if your enemy's ensnared. So, like I said, sometimes you can pick an item up with a passive that might not look like it's good, but then, you know, once you get a little bit later into your run, you never know what items you're going to run into. But in this situation, we're going to, reroll. So Changeling Belt, every 5 turns, randomly transform a front card stat, boost, potion, or scroll into a different one. Not terrible. Definitely some good stats. Or Petrify on attack per 4 HP. We don't really have a ton of HP, and also I really don't want to sacrifice the attack, so I'm not really interested in that right now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pick up this Changeling Belt. I do think Changeling Belt is really, really strong. It gives you basically the ability to change any stat, any potion, or any scroll into any of them that you want. Because these are not, the 5 turns that it shows next to the passive there are not combat turns. Those are just moves throughout the dungeon. So if you move to the left, that's 1 turn. But anyways, back to our items here. We got Trophy Amulet. This is usually really easy to pick up. Intimidate isn't useful unless you have high speed, which in this case we do, and then it gives us attack and HP. You can never complain about that. And then we've already got our plague, so there's no reason for us to spend souls on this purple chest. We could potentially fill another one of these slots, but I'm not super worried about it. Alright, nothing really that we want here, so we'll just move on through. Alright, let's see. So, we're in a position where we've got this bile bag shooting at us for 2 damage every turn. And we also have a poisonous enemy in front of us that we cannot kill in one shot. And we're actually going to be taking a good bit of damage from it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to move to the left here. And we're actually going to work our way around basically this side of the ring until we get back to those enemies going the other direction. We can use our plague here. Destroy both of them. So as you can see, it changed both of these. My changeling belt changed these into different items. So we'll go ahead and maybe pick this up for clarity. Alright, we'll go ahead and attack here and then poison him up. Easy peasy. Take him out. Heal. And now we've got 1 turn until we can attack, but we want to attack him once anyways. He stole our fractal. We can poison him up and he can literally just walk away. That's why this poison sword plague combo is so strong. So as you can see, this changed. There's nothing in there that I really want, so I'm going to leave it for now. But now, you can see we have 3 turns left. 2, 1. Now we've got the check mark, so our next move, we'll change it. So actually, what's interesting about this is that this never used to change rarity of scrolls, and now since because of these scroll pedestals, it does change the actual rarity. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up a key here. We're not gonna use it on the purple because we're looking for, again, more gold since we're getting into our end game. All right, he's gonna explode. Move away from him. Alright, we're going to poison him up so he can just walk away. Alright, very nice. Changed into another purple for us. So, like in this situation, we know we have a couple chests in here. We could use our key. See what we get. Alright, Thunderstep's not bad. Splash damage feels pretty good for the owl's route. And just in our end game in general. So you know what? I think we're gonna pick these up. Because now we have 2 themes going, right? We've got the poison damage going, which is great. Single target damage for a bunch of stacked damage. And then at the same time, we have some splash going, which helps us take out some of the trash mobs. But now we can keep hovering over this scroll until we get something that we want out of it. So actually, I'm going to pick this up because this just turned into something I'd like. Let's grab speed. So what I'm going to try and do here is force out of this purple scroll another key. Soulcraft wouldn't be bad either. Or not Soulcraft, salvage. We could destroy one of these purple chests since we're probably not going to open them. And there it is. We got another key. So we can go ahead and exit. Let's grab some attack here. Let him explode. And so now with our stats all above about 20, you can kind of spec into whatever you prefer. I like to go basically HP and defense, so I'm going to go a little bit of HP here, grab some defense. Just clear out the rest of this room. Another free gold because of our key that we were able to leverage with our channeling belt. Alright, so we don't need either of these. They don't really give us any benefits that we aren't already getting from our current loadout. Okay, so maniacal. Gain immunity while defense is positive, gain attack, and lose defense equal to incoming damage. This is a very interesting item to try and leverage, but that's for another video. That's definitely not appropriate for what I'm trying to explain here. Generosity, on the other hand, very easy to pick up. Doesn't really give you like much oomph in your build, but mimics present an extra choice, so I don't think it'll do it this time. But if we pick this up, okay, yeah. Basically, if you open a chest now, and let's say, actually, Sadistic Will is a great pickup for us. Poisoned creatures will transfer poison to neighbors on death. So since we have the poison build going, we can actually pick this up. Even though the stats aren't really what we like, the passive fits our build, and we can sacrifice the stats that we're losing. So we're going to pick that up, and now we have another choice. So if we wanted, we could pick up Stonecaller, we could pick up Versatile. I don't really want either of those, so I'm just going to let it go, but that's what Mimic Choice does for you. So we can go into the Ravage. There's probably nothing in here that we really need. Excuse me. Sorry for my nose. I am struggling with some allergies here. Sure, we'll pick up Creepy Doll. Sure, we'll pick up Bandana. Again, just stats for the sake of having those item slots filled. I don't care about blues. No, I don't need Soul Charger. Nope, don't need any of those. And there we go. No, thank you. I don't need those either. Alright. We can kill Sam for some extra souls. There's his tiny crown. Part of an achievement, not really anything that you need to pick up for your build. We'll go ahead and heal up to full. And now we're in the thick of the late game, so our whole strategy is just build upon what we've already gotten going in our build and prepare for the end game, which we are, or prepare for basically the boss path that we're going to be taking, which I think we've done a pretty nice job of so far. We've got decent clarity, so we have a lot of souls rolling in. We can pick up any of these additional chests that we want. As you can see, that last enemy died to poison, so it spread the poison to his neighbor. And then the same thing happened there. That Plague Bearer died, gave his poison over to this Rot Hound. And then that'll be the end of it because there's no other enemies next to him. So let's pick up this other gold chest. Ritual Torque is pretty good here. Heal 5 on crit. We don't have a ton of crit chance, but that would be a nice healing item for us since we don't have any healing in our build. But we're kind of on the lookout to replace our Soul Charger here. So we're going to go ahead and re-roll this. We have a bunch of souls, so we absolutely can. Skirt of Visions. That wouldn't be a bad pickup either, just because really, really high clarity is definitely strong. Parting Gift as well. Just another solid item, but it doesn't really fit our build, so we don't really need it. Don't want either of these items. This is kind of a legendary stat stick. It's not the best, and plus we just got Sadistic. Well, I shouldn't say it's not the best. It's not necessary for what we need right now. Obviously, as you can see, it gives us a ton of stats, but we don't really need it. Sadistic Will is giving us an effect that's better suited for us, so we're going to hang on to that. Collateral Damage. Now, collateral damage we could pick up because we already have a little bit of splash damage, so this would give us a ton of splash damage at 23 points. The only downside being that it destroys items and whatnot in the room. So we're going to pick that up because I can absolutely deal with having 22 attack. That's totally fine. Okay, now here we can make a shift if we'd like. So this is one of the benefits of having more than one theme going in your build is, so we've already got 23 damage, right? 23 splash damage, 15 plus 8. And now we can stack another 10 damage on top of that with a Quaking Hammer. So that'd be 33 damage on either side of the enemy that we're attacking, each attack. And we can still hang on to our Plague, because that's still great damage. So we're actually going to grab this Quaking Hammer. We can go ahead and grab a little bit more defense there. We'll go ahead and poison him, since we don't one-shot him. Alright. Very nice. Go ahead and destroy those enemies. Let him explode. We'll grab some more HP because I'm feeling a little bit squishy right now. As you can see, we're doing more splash damage than we are normal basic attack damage. Merchant. We could pick up if we wanted because we don't have as much poison anymore, so I'm not super worried about hanging on to Sadistic Will. Gives us some HP back, some good defense, and some clarity, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. Crushing Dash, sure, why not? Quick Approach, Shrine of Neglect, or Reprieve. So, whoops. I think the kind of the textbook answer here is we definitely take Shrine of Neglect, because the one thing that we are missing in our build is healing. So you can go into Shrine of Neglect. You have to hit this totem a random amount of times. I think anywhere between like 2 and 6 times. And as you can see, it took a couple points of clarity, or maybe a point or 2 of health, but we get the Bloodstone, and the Bloodstone gives us heal 1 on attack for an 80% chance. We do get rid of our fractals, so we lose some stats, but now we are much more survivable in the ring because of the fact that we have that healing on hit. So, let's see. I think I'm just going to start by opening up this gold chest. And so this is interesting. So we're going a very offensive build here now. Now we're all about splash damage, right? Dual wield will lower our defense a little bit, lower our attack a little bit, but that's going to spread the range of our splash damage by quite a bit. I don't want Eruption. So, like, let's heal up here. So, now if I attack... Oh my gosh, I want to get these items out of the way. Alright, I don't care about that item. So now I can't attack the spine back without taking damage. But if I attack this Shackles, it's going to destroy this card, or it's going to hit this card over here, the Shackles, the spine back, and it's going to destroy this Momentum. So now with dual wield, we can really do a lot of damage with this class, especially since we have so much. Alright, so here we're going to destroy all 3 of these cards. I don't want to attack him yet because I want to see what I got over here. Alright, don't care about that. Soulcrafts? Yeah, we'll Soulcraft the big head. And we'll just head out because we don't... Actually, we can do this, right? Here we go. Alright, and this is the final room before choosing the final path that you're going to take, I guess is the best way to explain it. So, in this room, there are always many creatures. There's usually a couple of potions, and oftentimes there's scrolls. But obviously that's always subject to change depending on your RMG of what you get in this room. But there's these pink goo totems around the room, and once you destroy all of them, you get you access the middle pillar. So we're gonna pick up this blizzard. We can go ahead and destroy this poisonous enemy here. And now we are pretty much set up for the final room. So you just hit these 4 times each, or 3 times each. And that will set us up for our boss fight / light path. So this is where the guide for the end game is going to end. We'll pick up in the next video for the boss fight. If you guys do enjoy these guides, please let me know. I know they're, I know it's been a little while since the last one, but I think it's important to, have some sort of idea of how to approach some of these rooms, since it can be a little unforgiving at first, as well as there's so many items in the game and so many creatures that it takes a lot of time to figure it all out for yourself. So if you do like the video, please leave a comment and a like. Let me know what you think, how I could improve these for you guys. If you'd rather me just segment these guides into the exact period of time, like if we were just doing the late game for this game, if you'd rather me just show the late game, or if you like me starting from the beginning and kind of practicing the basically the strategies of the past guides that I've put out. But anyways, until next time, we'll catch you in the next one.